in the struggle, we don't destroy comrades. The struggle, the revolution is a responsibility to build, to make good out of every comrade.
Former EFF spokesperson and Member of Parliament, Dr. MBUYISENI NDLOZI.
Point of order. What is your point of order?
Malema was the best amongst us. There was no doubt in my heart, in the hearts of many. He was the preeminent leader, like Steve Biko was to the generation of black consciousness. Well, we have a billionaire president as we speak. Do you think he's got the billions?
Hey.
Well, let's open a couch somewhere. Let's open a couch.
I wouldn't be chasing a couch with money. It is the stupidest idea to mock the person that prepared the room before you stand on that chair. That's not wise.
You still consider him a brother?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Even after all the stuff he said about you, I mean, he even took a jab at your wife, right?
You can never choose where the test of your character must come from. There are people who have had worse from their mothers.
Penduka, today it's a battle of the scruffy hair.
Who's competing against who?
It's me against VBS.
You've lost. You hit yours.
I don't know. He's winning.
Lost.
Can you see he's winning? Was that like a conscious look? Like, because most politicians want to be tidy and, you know, with suits and look
It
representable.
didn't start out as a conscious look. It was comfortable. There's this violent comb situation every morning that one just had to end. But of course, I mean, there is a very big problem to the black hair.
Yeah.
You know, we were not accustomed in a racist society to wear it with pride. You will notice that slavery and the phenomena of massive imprisonment of black men made the cheesecop a sort of acceptable hairstyle.
Makes sense, yeah.
Shorts, yeah, because Shorts has got slavery tendencies.
Why people don't Why people don't quite, cheesecop a lot, unless they're bold or something. But there is a relationship historically between that aesthetic and somehow people have a problem with our hair. I don't know.
Yeah, but our hair is beautiful, man.
I think it is. Certainly I do.
So you don't comb it in the morning, you just wake up?
Jeez, the violence, Chief. Can't.
True. Painful.
I've had to make peace with the fact that I can't go through that every morning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special edition of Podcast and Chill. We're coming at you live from former spokesperson of the EFF, Dr. MBUYISENI NDLOZI.
What an oldie. The people's babe.
The people's babe, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for inviting us to your house. Penduka, I think we chose the wrong career, man.
Yeah,
politicians are living soft. I mean, this house is amazing.
Beautiful home, man. Beautiful home.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Did you design the house, or like, was it a collaborative thing? Or?
No, just collaborative and an awful lot of years. I'm old. Been working for a very long time, and this is really my first roof on the top.
Oh, nice.
So I'm grateful.
For real.
I'm
Beautiful.
grateful to God.
So the first time I met Dr. NDLOZI, was about 2-3 weeks ago, because we got a mutual friend, so he was at the house.
Yes.
And I meet him, I'm like, oh shit, you're just as short as me, bro.
He's super short. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And one thing I noticed about him is, like, mostly, from my understanding, right? Mostly, like, politicians, they use big words on TV, just to confuse us. And confuse the enemy. This is the first nigga I've met who speaks like that, even without the cameras, dog. Like, big English. Why? that though.
But bro, you see, we're shooting in the whole library, so it's who he is. Like it's a real thing.
This nigga's like real about it. He's like for real. He's a comrade.
Yeah.
He's in his comrade mode.
Intellectual. He's like the poster boy of intellectualism in
You
the
know what I
country.
mean?
Pretty much, to young people at least.
Like, are you always on comrade mode? Like, even when you get high and stuff, like, do you still speak in big English?
I think you are making a very unfortunate connection.
He's like, yeah.
It's not
it's just unfortunate connection.
It's not fair that, only comrades do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I can think of pastors. I can think of Rastafarians.
Yeah.
They always invested in an organized way of speaking.
But is there ever a moment where you just chill, man, and speak like us normal
this
people?
This is the moment. Are we not chilling here?
Like, when you get high, do you still speak?
I don't get high.
Oh, so you've never tried weed?
I have.
So you've been high?
I didn't get high.
Oh.
I didn't take it enough, I think. I was like, okay, let's taste this.
Yeah.
And I knew that, okay, no, I'm not...
How many puffs did you have? What were you smoking?
Weed, proper weed. There was a very good friend of mine from the university. Lots of weed at the university.
Yeah.
I never came across drugs in the sense of cocaine and all of that, but students loved weed. I had a Rastafarian friend, Pilani Mtembu. He's a great intellectual now in international relations. But there was another one, which I won't mention. I don't think he would like it.
Yeah.
And he had the establishment in his house, of growing it in some scientific way.
Yeah.
That fascinated me. I said, okay, is this different to the one behind the yard?
Yeah.
It's like, types of strands or something. And then I'm like, okay, let's see. Let me taste. And I did, but it was not out of the commitment to get the rush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you speak like this in the bedroom? In terms of let's say you're about to put your pants down. Are you on some
I'm not sure that I am conscious of how I speak in that situation.
Because he strikes me as a nigga that'll be like, my dear, as we're about to embark on this journey.
Gravitational pull forces are pulling down on my pants, and other parts are defying gravity within my pants.
I'd like to express my profound admiration for your beauty. You know what I mean? Yeah, it sounds like he speaks like
Very
that.
poetic, yeah.
Someone else would have to answer that question. I think it's very clear. I don't know that I will know how I speak. Because I'm not sure that I'm conscious in that way.
Yeah. I want to play a clip. I think this is like you. I want to play a clip. I think it's like grade 12 or something, or grade 11. I'll play it now. But you want something for the English language and whatever. I'll play you the clip now.
English language.
Yeah.
Wow.
What's your fascination?
You're playing it for me.
Yeah, I'm going to play it for you now. But
Can
before
I
I play
request you not to? I have a proper recollection of what happens there.
Yeah, you don't want me to play it?
Jeez, it's embarrassing.
But it's funny, man. It's funny.
Yeah,
you know which video I'm talking about?
I don't know.
Let me play it.
All of us here know it.
Let me play it. Here we go. Listen to this. So look at this nigga, bro.
Study grant this morning. We're joined by the winner of the competition, MBUYISENI. Well, congratulations. Looking at this award, it's very heavy, made out of granite, and this obviously is the gold award. So the little.
Can you see what he looks like? Just look there. Can you see how innocent he looks?
And that's actually gold. So this is a very
I'm seeing the award now. I don't see him. Oh, I've seen this clip.
Let's see. Yeah. Tracy. God, I had my hair combed there.
Yeah.
My hair was combed.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
What is happening here, man? Tell us more about this.
Young Communicators Award, Agri-Class there, the great Agri-Class there, had initiated a competition, national competition, which was a communications competition. We happened to, for second language English speakers. So us and the Afrikaners. Sowetan Anglo-American Young Communicators Award. And I started at school and until the national stage. And
So what's your obsession? That's the question I wanted to ask you. What's your obsession with the English language? Like,
I
it
don't
sounds
have.
deep-rooted.
I don't have.
Well, the love of it. Though.
Yeah.
Like, where does it stem
No.
from?
Communication is the key.
The love of communication.
Well, to communicate is the very essence of existing. You know, Fanon says to speak is to exist absolutely for the other. When you speak, you are existing for the other person. So when we communicate every day, we learn how to be for someone else. And from a philosophical point of view, I think it carries a lot of what is important about every day. And we get through a lot by having to properly communicate, from a relationship, from how you raise children, from how you teach, from how you do politics. The podcast is a communication.
Wow.
Massive.
Yeah. You are obsessed with communication.
Nah.
Yeah. This is the level of Look at it. These are levels of obsession. It was
No, he's like a scientist communicator. He doesn't know it,
as under candlelight, you know?
Yeah.
And that's how upset you are with comms.
You look so innocent in that video, man. You look like you're still a virgin. You're
What
a
is
virgin,
innocence?
Man. You look like you just came out of...
You think virginity has a relationship with innocence?
Yes.
That's backward.
It is the pure essence of innocence.
That's backward.
You don't think so?
No. That's,
Why not?
It comes from a culture that seeks to vilify love.
Okay.
And makes us feel ashamed. A culture of interpolating people as having to have shame for their sexual encounters. There is nothing wrong in sex. You should not, as a result of having had sex, be attacked by shame. We must actually remove shame, particularly for the girl child. The girl child is always grown in that situation of having to not be touched by the boys, not to, for themselves, also be comfortable with feeling, with having a positive relationship to their own pleasure. It's like it's a wrong thing to do.
So can you translate? What's this nigga saying, man?
No, I hear what he's saying.
What is
but
he
the
saying?
thing is, especially for a lot of boys, and even for some women, sex is not love. That's the thing. And sometimes maybe we're protecting the girl child from falling victim to the lust of boys and men. And it is a fact that sometimes we just use it for our own enjoyment.
We can debate.
Meanwhile, somebody else is invested on a love
We
way.
can debate that, but what I'm cautioning is the culture of making a relationship between sex and it being a wrong thing, such that you must have a shame. So whether you are lusting or loving, there is nothing wrong with that pleasure.
When do you lose your virginity, bro?
22.
20 years?
Yeah.
Hey, you're a late bloomer, eh?
Is that so?
Yeah.
Kanti uqale nini wena?
I'm a 16, 15. No, I'm kidding. Matric.
You were burning.
Matric. Yeah, no.
You were burning.
Lies.
No,
But I didn't lose it, you know?
Yeah.
No, I didn't lose my virginity. I gave it. In a proper encounter of mutual wanting each other.
Yeah. Do you remember what happened? Can you take us back to that?
Yeah. No, I will not do that.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, you told me you are ZCC.
Yeah.
Yeah, that terrain of conversation can best be described by 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 11, the second sentence. Learn to mind your own business. It's biblical.
No. But isn't this the shame that you are not now, you don't want to express your sexual
There is a
encounter, which is a very pure act of love or pleasure, as you mentioned.
No. I think you're crossing lines. There's a terrain of confidentiality, and that's important for Black people. Because we're a people who's always invaded, whose confidentiality is not important. So you've got to know it's not secret. It's in the province of the confidential.
Yeah.
And that's important for dignity. Yes.
Let's talk about your background, man, because I'm told that you come from a poor background. So how do you get into a school like that video that we saw? Because it looks like a good school, you know?
No. That's Khudlotaro.
I mean, it looks like a township school.
Yeah.
Please pop up the video now.
That's Khudlotaro in Sebokeng Zone 3.
Okay.
Well, very proper township.
Yeah.
I grew up in Everton. Everton and Alex are the oldest townships in South Africa. And freehold stands, we all live with single tap, pit toilets. So no, I didn't go to. The first good school I went to was Wits.
Oh, okay.
I think it was a good school.
Yes. And what happens? Take me back when you're in grade 6 and you're trying to cook or you're boiling water, and then there's an incident that happens. What was going on there? What happened?
I'm a firstborn to a single mother. So I was standard 4 is grade 6.
Yes.
Yeah. I was cooking, cleaning at the same time in the afternoon. So the pot for the porridge, for pap, it starts to boil. So I rush, I'm trying to pick it up, and by accident, the entire content falls on my lamp.
Oh!
Lap and I spent 6 weeks in hospital,
Jeez,
having to recover from, I don't know what degrees of burn they call it, but...
You still have the scars?
Of course, I've got... when I'm wearing shorts, you're not wearing shorts today, but you see it out in a fish bag.
So what kind of background, do you come from? Like, is it very, very heavily political? Like, what was your mom and dad doing? Like,
I didn't know or had a relationship with my father.
Okay.
Lots of uncles. Lots and lots of aunts as well. Lots of cousins. And
who then become the father figure.
Very working class.
Yeah.
Very, very working class. No professionals, no sophisticated relationship with qualifications. I've got an uncle that was very, very involved. He was the bravest man I knew because he was in the self-defense units.
Okay.
And they were engaged in a mission in the Val. Back then it was called the Val. To rob 3 police stations.
What?
In order to arm themselves. These are apartheid police stations.
That's your uncle?
Yeah. And so they arm themselves because there is this idea that Inkatha is advancing towards Sebokeng and ultimately
Got you.
to Sasolburg.
This is IFP, ne?
IFP, yes. So they then engage in this mission to arm themselves. I write about it in my PhD actually because I interviewed the whole crew.
Wow.
But that's my uncle who is still in the ANC. And he's the most political person I had in my life. So everything I knew, Freedom Charter, the struggle songs, the basic political education was out of a relationship I had with him.
Did he rob the police station successfully?
Yeah, he was he was in the unit. He was essentially its leader.
Yeah.
And they successfully got the arms.
Wow.
Yeah. And they got compromised at a later stage, got arrested, accused of killing a white man. Mandela had to visit them in prison because it was some important case. It was very embarrassing to the regime that 3 of its police stations had been disarmed of arms. So that's the person in my life for at least my own political consciousness that is who is responsible, because the day they came to pick him up, the Boers, I think they came very early in the morning, maybe 4:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock. You know how they portray it on TV? It's precisely like that.
Yeah.
They get in, it's the dogs, it's the torches, and there are many. So they ask him, they find 2 younger men, we're looking for Toto. He says, no, my name is Gates, which are the ID names.
Yeah.
So they like, okay, the person we're looking, they don't know how he looks.
Yeah.
So they leave. But when they're outside, somebody I think says, but that's Toto. Yes.
Snitch.
That club I will never forget it.
So you are there. You
Wakaruwa, you know that situation of sleeping in the same arrangement.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. This is the bravest guy I knew. Shang Tlabeni. He cried with a falsetto. And you understand what is a falsetto?
I'm following you.
Gariano. So that is the guy.
You know, with our culture, like a name is very important. So your name, who gives you that name, and like what does it mean?
My grandmother.
Yeah.
So there was an uncle of mine who was very notorious. I didn't get to know him. Jablanim Central, they used to call him. That was his street name. Name at home, Jablan. Proper Tsotsi. And all those notorious people in the township. So he got missing. And then on the day I was born, I'm told that then a police report arrived that he had been found dead somewhere, possibly killed. They couldn't find the family. And then they had to go bury him. And where he's buried with another person in a grave in Avalon. So my grandmother's cry was Mfanseni, Mfuniseni, Mbuyis. So Mbuyiseni is about that.
Okay.
Yeah, you are very good with research. You see that. you portray this cheer to disarm.
But you didn't grow up far away from the the massacre, the Bipato. What was that like? What was going on there?
Well, those was a terrible part of the history. I think it's the reason Codesa was collapsed.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Codesa that we know.
Yeah. After Bipatung massacre, I think the liberation movement withdrew from Codesa because one evening people were attacked by hostile dwellers of KwaMadala and proper, machete, pangas and all those things. And the origins of these people of KwaMadala hostel had been linked to the IFP. So yeah. I was too young.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is 1992, if I'm not mistaken, the Bipatung massacre.
So
still young.
So when does the political bug bite you? Because here your uncles, they're robbing thing is, like you mentioned, this one is notorious. At school, are you studying to be a political?
Yeah, and in high school, I was in the SRC twice.
Okay.
I was president of the SRC. And in a definitively political way.
Yeah.
I joined the ANC-aligned Youth League and SASCO ultimately at a much later stage when the YCL came to campuses.
Okay.
Also joined it. So
is it a thing of you found politics or politics found you?
What is politics? Let me ask you. That's party politics.
Yes, party politics. Yes,
party
that's what I mean.
Politics.
Yes,
Certainly, I arrived at the university. So the first organization I joined was CAF.
Okay.
Christian Action Fellowship. Because I thought maybe I can be called, so I can be a minister.
Yeah. Because you used to preach at school, right?
Yeah, I preached a lot. So one of the first services was I'm preaching. Second week being in campus. CAF, they give us the service, we start preaching. FLOYD was in the audience.
Oh, wow. Oh.
Yeah. He had been at the university at that time already.
He's older than you this time, no?
Yeah, he's older. He's older than me all the time.
I wanted to say that. You haven't caught up, man. I don't think you will ever catch up.
So that was Sunday night. The very next morning, he was the chairperson of SASCO, and then some other guy called Teles. He was the chairperson of the Youth League. They came to recruit me from my room at Wits to say, hey, have you joined? Interested in the Youth League? And
ANC Youth
I said,
League.
Absolutely. That's a natural choice. Yeah.
What do you know about the ANC at this time? Like the establishment?
A lot.
Okay.
I've got a relationship with the leader of the of the ANC in the Free State, who is my uncle.
Yes.
One of my other uncles, Kaskam Kitlani, served time in Robben Island. I've encountered all these people. I was very politically active in school, in high school, as I say.
What are you guys fighting for at this time?
Student interests.
Okay.
Mainly, yes. We had to have a very prolonged battle with corporal punishment on the one end, and the other facilities, township school problems. Then problems of not facilities in the sense only of the building and the infrastructure, but books, good teachers, and have ultimately a very proper relationship as well in relation to extracurricular activities, good sports in quotes. Those are the student struggles.
So how come you didn't seek out the ANC, which was the only viable, really, political home when you got to varsity, when you're so politically conscientized coming up?
So they had
to come to you.
That was my they were overzealous. That was my second week.
It was coming.
It was a natural progression. I came from a home where we sing those things of struggle songs, and my great-grandmother, who I knew, the mother of my grandmother, used to pray for the ANC a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, I used to pray for the ANC a lot. Yeah, at home, they were very ANC. The certain section of the family still is. Of course, over the last 12 years, that has had a touch of red. Yeah.
So which political leader are you looking up to at this time? Is there anyone in particular that you want to emulate and be like this
I was
guy?
very fascinated, since I had a very strong passion for biblical discourse, preaching, praying. And I thought, maybe uNkulunkulu angangibiza. So I was fascinated by Dr. Frank Chikane. At the time, Alan Busak, because they could do that joining of political struggle and service to God. Martin Luther King, very important. These were from me trying to negotiate these seemingly non-related worlds that I wanted to be part of. These were the immediate figures. But Steve Biko, was important. We read Steve already in high school. I read Long Walk to Freedom in matric of Mandela. It was given by a teacher, Mr. Lamola. He's late now. I didn't do history at school, so...
Bro, we were reading about Hitler, dog.
You were...
grade 8. I remember.
The Mein Kampf, Hitler's book, is 100 years this year. It's turning 100 years. It would be important to look back at that book, taking into consideration what's happening with Donald Trump, his desire for Greenland and Canada, the Panama Canal, as well as the situation in Gaza and Palestine.
Got you.
But Hitler is an important issue. Everybody needs to learn about Hitler.
Yeah. I know, they forced it down our throats, man. So I only started...
Where was this?
Hyde Park. I went to Hyde Park High. So I only started to learn about black historians after high school.
That's your point.
Yes.
I see.
Yes.
See.
So when you get into the ANC, bro...
And who are these black historians?
I'm talking about Chris Hani, Steve Biko. I only knew them after school. I never learned about them in school, which would have been great.
Tragic.
Because it's our history, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's not built like that.
Do you think they do now?
Nah. Still the same.
You should go have a podcast there about Steve in Hyde Park High.
No one will watch that, Chief.
No,
the numbers will be lower.
It's not for the audiences.
Okay.
It's for this important question of black history.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, Principal Amir, I'm going to interview you.
Yeah.
I've done this great, phenomenal work.
Yeah.
What's the curriculum content these days?
Yes.
Principal.
Yeah.
Then he goes like, yeah, do you teach black consciousness?
Yeah.
And he says, no, he says, but why?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very important.
So when you get to the NC, what does it look like? Is it everything that you anticipated? What are you even doing when you get into the NC Youth League?
I was elected into the leadership and there were, immediately I was on financial aid.
Okay.
You get to VEDS because of NSFAS or scholarship.
Yeah.
So the Sowetan Anglo-American competition gave me some funding, which they keep. You don't get it until you show registration. So I got that. But by April, they cut our funding. By April of 2004, I'm first year. Yes, we had to take it to the streets. Like a big strike at Wits. And to fight for funding. And that's the essential student struggle.
Who's president at this time? Who's the president of NC?
The president was 2004, Lukele.
Okay.
Lukele, it was a SASCO president, yeah.
No, but who's president of the ANC at that time?
In the country?
Yeah, in the country.
Thabo.
Okay. So do you get to
Mbeki
meet
is the
Thabo?
president.
And who else do you meet? Do you meet like the CIC, Julius?
I've never, not in 2004, I didn't. Do you know, in 2002, I did meet President Mbeki because we're part of those kids that were then taken to have a panel discussion with him. But I was like in the audience. We had like,
a discussion.
a discussion, and we held his hand and all of that. That was the encounter with him. And much earlier, he had come to address my church. I think 1999.
Got you.
So no. At the time, you are in campus. Nothing big.
Who's in your campus? Is Julius there? Is that where you meet?
No.
All that.
That's FLOYD is there.
Oh, FLOYD.
FLOYD.
Yeah.
I don't know who else is there. No.
Nah, man. Come on. So you remember Julius and the matric, and you only got schooled like went to further study a bit later. So you wouldn't have been.
I'm trying to find out who he was with that we might know now.
Oh.
Yeah, Mbali Hlophe.
Okay.
Most of them, I don't think, are in the public space.
Got you.
Yeah.
How would you rate our presidents from bad, from good to worst?
Which presidents?
The ones we've had
Democratic
since
era.
South Africa's president.
Yeah, since the democratic era.
Mandela had a very difficult task, the breakthrough for the franchise. One woman, one man, one vote. One person, one vote. Very important to secure that. President Mandela, it seems to me, people underestimate this, that a civil war was truly brewing. And not only around the death of Chris Hani, but the last of the apartheid security structures to agree to a democratic transition was the military intelligence. And I suspect these are the guys that were the handlers of Janus Walus. But he says it in the book, Conversations with Myself, as well as other books as well. But what happens is, few weeks before the elections, my brother, he comes across information that these guys are mobilizing and they're armed to the teeth.
For real.
So he calls, firstly, de Klerk. He says, I've come across this information. We need to demobilize these people and all of that. Let's work this out. De Klerk says, no. Absolutely. He calls Botha. He says, in the 80s, we agreed there must not be use of arms. De Klerk says, Botha says, no, I agree, I'll come. Says, but it would be important for us to also bring Terre Blanche. And Botha says, I'll never be in the same room with that idiot. Dismiss him. Says, but de Klerk, that's fine. He goes back to de Klerk. He says to de Klerk, well, I really think that it's important that we do this together with Botha. And he was shocked. De Klerk said the same thing that Botha said about
Got a plan.
Replies and declares like, I don't want that. I don't want to work with that old man.
Yes.
But in that situation, there is a demobilization of military intelligence that had connection with a certain piece of land to hijack key leaders, take them there, force them to... Yeah, very
and
important.
And the public doesn't know about this?
No, it's in the records.
Okay,
it's public record, yeah. I think that was important. There were many outstanding issues, obviously, which the TRC attempted to deal with on the one hand, and there were economic questions, but our constitution has a lot of room for radical economic transformation and economic emancipation. So I think that he left an important legacy in that sense.
And then Mbeki?
President Mbeki was a brilliant international relations strategist.
Did he like the bottle, by the way?
He built our international relations policy framework, the continent in particular. Do you know that when the problems of Zimbabwe started in relation to the land?
Yes.
At the time, Tony Blair was the UK Prime Minister.
Yeah.
We are told that he then asked President Mbeki to do to Zimbabwe what they did to Iraq and Afghanistan. President Mbeki said, over my dead body. It's not just that Zimbabwe question. There's Haiti and African peer review mechanism and so on and so forth. Very important. But President Mbeki tried, I think, to drive a neoliberal macroeconomic framework that had too much hope. And I think it was a false hope that the markets could resolve the big problems in South Africa. Unemployment, inequality, poverty.
Did he like the bottle, by the way? I heard he liked the bottle.
I don't know. I don't know him like...
I heard he smoked weed.
He smoked weed as well?
I heard.
My nigga.
I think everybody in the camps... Remember, President Mbeki is a soldier.
Yeah.
Trained by the Soviet Union. He was in MK. He was in the camps. He ran operations in Swaziland, in Botswana. He was a soldier. In the bush, it's very possible that, whether you drink it as tea or you smoke it. I think a lot of them have had to cross that path and so on and so forth. So, I'm saying that I don't know as a matter of fact.
President Jacob Zuma.
President Zuma is the president that was responsible for the ANC when the Youth League crisis occurred.
Okay.
It's very hard for me to look past that. The Youth League, led by Julius, Malema, MacG, and all of them, raised important generational radical policies. It was dismantled. It was an important vehicle for us young people. On the one hand, I think that needs to be, in my view, I have never had an interaction with him. And that I worry about that particular, he was the president. Because in the struggle, we don't destroy comrades. The struggle, the revolution is a responsibility to build, to make good out of every comrade. That moment is very important to me. He was the president during Marikana. He was the president that was presiding over the country. But certainly, again, there's a lot of credit in relation to the work he did on BRICS. And President Zuma had a much more willingness to experiment as well with free education. Because fees must fall happened under him.
Oh, yes.
And there's a lot to be said about how the state treated those activists. He was the president. So certainly I think in his era, there was an important work done to consolidate an agenda of the global South.
What did you think of his relation with the Guptas? You know, it's well publicized.
I mean, there's this question of corruption.
Yeah.
These all Nkandla, the reason we're doing pay back the money.
Yes, I remember. In Parliament,
and the Guptas. I don't know that he has had, because of the problems of the Commission of Inquiry, he has not had a chance to be interrogated around those questions. Some presidents, President Mbeki went to be interrogated about the arms deal. He sat in that commission, got even disrespected by some white racist lawyer, but he sat there to account, to be questioned and interrogated. The questions of the Guptas and all of that remain largely, in my view, open. And President Zuma had to assist the country.
But doesn't the history show that whoever is in power will always feed their friends, in terms of like, during Zuma it was the Guptas, but maybe before it was someone else, the Russians or
There's
whatever.
always a proximity of business people to politicians who are in power. And then they take using the guy's yacht, for example.
So it just feels like,
You know, the politician is using the guy's
what he's doing
yacht.
there.
No, for real. No, but
He's trying to draw me.
President Mandela stayed, may his soul rest in peace, at Dostein's house, which is now Saxon Hotel. He stayed with the Manels, who are part of Anglo. And, you know, there's always been cozy relationships between very rich businessmen and politicians. And to me, that's always like a double standard of some sort. And it was highlighted with Zuma, but as I mentioned now, it's been happening long before Jacob Zuma, even with Mandela, and he had really cozy relationships with serious business people in mining and all sorts of business.
Well, we have a billionaire president as we speak. Do you think he's got the billions?
Let's open a couch somewhere. Let's open a couch.
I wouldn't be chasing a couch with money. If I have billions in it. It's very hard.
It's subjective, I think.
The Pala Pala saga makes it very difficult to believe that this is a billionaire. But I think the point about business is an important one in terms of power relations and all of that. So it's something that opposition parties, civil society, the media must always unapologetically question.
So let's move on to our current president. Your thoughts on him?
Yes, President Matamela.
Oh, his name is Matamela.
I have never...
Man, ask the vendor guy in the room. It's Matamela.
Is Matamela vendor?
Yeah.
What does it mean?
I have no idea, man. You must ask a real vendor.
Oh, you're not real.
He's a Parktown vendor.
You're a podcast vendor. Pot vendor. Or you're the vendor of the vending machine.
Yes.
You're disappointing. Where is the pride? Do you know Venda is a very important language? It's possibly one of the most cosmopolitan. Because incidentally, I started to think about this very, very strongly. Do you, Saul, have the name for gold in isiZulu?
Oh, yeah. I spoke to him about this a few weeks ago. I did on the podcast.
Do you have
but
the name?
vendors do. Remember the Empire of Mapungubwe, it was
that
vendors.
Tells you because Thulamela, Mapungubwe, Great Zimbabwe were doing gold in the 12th century.
Way before even the Bushmen.
Why people didn't even know how to sail across the Atlantic at that time. So in any way, Ramaphosa, two important problems. President Ramaphosa, firstly, as a billionaire, invites distrust from most of those circles in the left that seek change. It's impossible or almost impossible to think with him, to think about him, or to think of him as somebody that could discipline capital, that could turn against capital if it was in the interest of our people. And in Marikana, the email exposed him. because he characterized the workers as not workers, as deserving of concomitant action. He hasn't had that concomitant action on poverty, on infrastructure development, on the problems that we face. We're still waiting for that. President Ramaphosa has, in my view, this recently shocked me in a pleasant way. I didn't know, I could have never guessed that there will be a situation in which President Ramaphosa sounds like Robert Mugabe.
Wow.
That means we may have to not stick to one-dimensional reading of people. Maybe there is much more complexity to him. Complexity. There's no white monopoly capital that could confront Donald Trump and the Euro-American establishment like that.
So you don't think he's a white puppet?
I think that invites a skepticism over those sentiments. Is that certainly in that moment, and it's not just one moment, the Palestinian question. The presidents before Ramaphosa would take two-state solution. The Israelis and the Palestinians must coexist. President Mbeki took it a step further at the time when Hamas won Gaza elections. The West wanted to reject them. It's like, but that's a democratic outcome. But none of them had gone the step that Cyril did to say that Israel is engaged in a genocide.
Picking a side, yeah.
And take them to The Hague. Now, I mean, I'm sorry. You saw the relationship that Netanyahu, the president of Israel, has with the US establishment. To do that, that was even before the GNU. And to continue after the GNU with the DA there, to insist on the Bella Bill, to insist on nil compensation, it is not enough. But it has pissed off the private property owners of South Africa. Those steps he doesn't have to do. He can hold us with some neutrality, make us believe, but the mere pronouncements, politically, they carry a lot of symbolic hostility towards the West.
So do you feel like the decisions he's making now will only, we as people, will feel them like in few years to come and look back at this moment? And
it is one thing to speak. It's another to get on to the nitty-gritty and do the work. He's got to do the work. Certainly he's got to do the work. This is the weakest ANC. That's 40%. It's the weakest ANC. He's leading the weakest ANC in history.
What do you think
And
changed?
he's pulling stances that President Mbeki with a 2/3 majority, President Zuma with 63% didn't pull. So I'm saying that in that tradition of ANC ideological zigzags and social democracy and central left, I think he has most recently, stretched the logic.
So how do you explain how the media covers Cyril? Like anything that he does that is bad, it's not really covered that much, especially in the mainstream media. Whereas during Zuma's time, if Zuma beat a red robot, like it was making Sunday papers.
President Zuma was one of the most misunderstood, mischaracterized public and political figures in South Africa. Certainly, I think that something the media needs to learn there about its own journalistic...
So why do you think they never write anything bad about?
I think they do. I think there was a whole negative attack around the Expropriation Act. And certainly
But that's because it's one section of people that are...
The Cyril has a lot of favor and support. I think for two reasons. Because, of the same assumptions we make. That no, this guy is a billionaire. We can trace his billions to relationships with white, capital. Cyril has run, complicated establishments in that business framework. But also, too, he came in, with a promise of non-corruption,
Yes.
and so on and so forth. So then Phala Phala happened. I think factually, if you went to check MacG, he didn't have a good time from the media around Phala Phala.
Because it begs me, then you ask yourself, when you're watching this, like, who really owns the media? According to you, who do you think owns the media?
Majority of the media is still very much in the hands of white, the old white capitalist establishment.
Rupert owns ETV, them Nespers own Media 24, the gang.
Yeah. I mean, he's right. So you've got Rupert, you've got Koos is powerful.
Wow,
Koos Becker, from the apparatuses of dominating what we think, how we receive news,
manufacturing,
how
consent.
People are portrayed, the apparatuses of media discourse. Koos Becker, I mean, that's multi-choice guy. Very important, tense. And
is that good for in any country?
No, we've got
with that man.
This is why your initiative is an important part of the revolution. It's an important part of the revolution because it falls squarely in media diversification. Any decent government should be throwing the same amount of advertisement expenditure that they throw, for instance, to Media 24, to Prime Media, as well as all these private platforms. Because here, it's an opportunity. I hope you own it.
Yeah, 100%.
You do.
Kezo.
Alone.
Ndando.
Bandlu sol.
Hey, where's the empowerment, right? Where's the empowerment? Yeah, exactly. They got you nice there. Yeah. Exactly.
Wapenduke.
Wasol. I'm writing solo. He's writing solo.
No, what's mine is soul. What's soul is
He's writing solo MC.
Come on, MacG. Come on, man.
I don't do that. Don't EFF us, Chief.
Don't look out for a brother. Hey, don't remove this one, Mac. Don't remove this one. Never. Don't remove this one. Don't edit
Look
it
out
out.
for a brother, man. Poor bloody soul.
I'm not poor though, man. Come on.
Yeah, it is.
Well, Paul, you don't own a podcast. Saul doesn't own
no, what's mine is soul. What soul is mine.
You don't own a party. You don't own a party, so man, I own the symbol.
Parties aren't supposed to be owned.
Well, in South Africa, different ideas.
No. They're not registered as PTYLT.
But guys like Jadai at the helm. Guys like Bantu.
There is a model
guys like
of
Bantu remain riding a
There is a
sinking
model
ship.
of politics. There is a model of politics that may give that impression, but it's hardly ownership. Not in the sense that he's owning the platform where you're a kick on.
Yeah.
He created it. It's like
Satan.
No,
it's my nigga, man.
It's like when somebody else goes and registers a party, as much as it's not a P2ILTD. And then nobody else is able to sit at the helm.
I wish you the best. I wish you.
What do you think about parties that are led by one person? Like your IFPs, your EFFs, your MK now.
It's too early to put the EFF in that category. It's too early. That is the modalities of early beginnings. Is the modalities of early beginnings. The ANC first conference, 1912, the first president was not in attendance at the conference. He was not in the room. John Langalubelele Dube was elected in his absence. He had to accept through a media article statement about a week later. Already at the beginning of the ANC, and the ANC, in comparison to the rest of the continent, does get this thing of presidents, of less presidentialism.
By the way, just to off-ramp a bit, who do you think will be the next president?
Of
ANC?
Very hard to tell.
Ne?
They have 2026 to pass. Because if after 2026 they are at 35% or 30%, I think that debate is going to take a radical shift.
Who's your money on, dog? I think my money's on Banyaza.
I don't have money. I'm unemployed.
Who's your money on? Eh? Or do you think
Banyaza a candidate?
We think we're gonna get a name
He's
from
not a candidate,
I don't know.
but we've seen what's happening. The gearing towards the next guy.
But-
Continuation, succession.
Yeah. Or is it going to be a name that we're not thinking of now? It's just going to come later.
Yeah, but it's most likely.
I don't
it's
think
most likely
it has
gonna be
been
Mbalula.
this unclear.
It's most likely going to be Mbalula.
I don't think
man.
it has been this unclear
it's bad.
in
In a
all
while.
its history.
Yeah.
Who would you like to see? Because these are your colleagues in the political space.
very hard.
And you know the men
I'm not
behind
ANC.
the characters.
I'm not ANC.
Who, though, would you like to see? Because
As the president of the ANC, I have no interest.
as the president of the country,
Certainly, that is a big one.
No, that's a good question.
You see, the 2024 elections have been very humbling. I was like, I think I was half depressed when those results were announced.
yeah.
Devastating. But you know what? Everybody was devastated.
Who do you think? You didn't answer the question.
Who would you like to see?
I don't know. The question of the next president in 2029, the jury is out. It's too early. It's been 6 months.
Okay. But who would you, in your ideal world,
I don't have now.
Right.
you don't have
No, not
someone
now.
you'd put forward to
No.
say this is a good man to lead the country?
No, not yet.
Or
I don't
women?
have. No. Look, you are definitely going to have a coalition situation.
Yeah.
You are definitely going to have people not getting a majority.
Yeah.
I wonder if there is enough political gravitas, maturity, and political soundness to can revive or recycle people like Naledi Pandor.
Yeah.
I think we let go too early Mama Pandor. I think there's still a lot that she could give, even in 2029. Yeah.
Before we continue, why did you leave the ANC, by the way?
You know, the president of the Youth League was expelled.
Julius at the time.
Yes. And the rest of the guys were suspended. It was very clear at the time that there had to be an agent saving of the agenda of economic freedom in our lifetime. That if we didn't go and start the EFF, the ideas may have disappeared.
Okay.
Yes, the ideas may have disappeared.
So then is the EFF an extension of ideas that stem from ANC? then?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's a long tradition of those ideas, 1955,
Got you.
1948, and so on and so forth, as back certainly as the wars of colonial dispossession. The ideas, there was nothing unique or new that we said.
So if
We were plugging into the unfulfilled promise and unfinished business of the Liberation Project.
So the ANC big guys, right? The big guys at the time, when they see this robust energy from you guys, and you guys are the young people, why don't they give you the platform to lead the ANC into the promised land? You know what I mean? With young, new, fresh ideas.
But they cut off a very important generation of leaders. In Malema, in SHIVAMBU, in MacG. MacG was assassinated later on. These are the problems of our generation, is that at the time in 2012, the ANC seemed to close the door at a generational mission.
Why? Are they intimidated by that generation? Do they not see any value? Why?
I think that there is no one explanation, but a big part of the explanation, certainly the disruption that Youth League caused to the establishment at the time, is something that is one of the explanations. But the second explanation could obviously be President Zuma was in his first term of office, and the Youth League was like, you can't do the second one.
Okay.
So that as well, I think, was important, an important factor in the whole political demise of that leadership.
Apart
and
from
we left. I was not suspended or expelled
Yeah.
from the youth league and the NCI. I left out of the faith in this program and the agenda that it had to be kept alive. And it had to be kept alive through an alternative platform that was going to be 100 times better than where we came from.
So,
Bro, why don't these guys want to let go of power? These old guys.
I don't know. Power is obsessive.
Hey, man.
It's an obsessive. It has that obsessive psychological
what
impact.
what else can they do? They've made all the money. They've chowed. I mean, just take a break, dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
earlier on, speaking on what you're saying, earlier on you said something very important, right? You said, in the struggle, we don't destroy comrades. Don't you think that is exactly what is wrong with the ANC? Because you'll find a mayor or a premier of a province who's responsible for gross corruption, the looting of a VBS, for example, and then due to the ethos of we don't destroy comrades, then gets promoted to the Ministry of Justice, for example, and then gets found wanting or more scandals, and then gets promoted to, or not promoted, but reassigned, reshuffled to somewhere else, instead of just discarding the rotten apple, the corruption, because of the ethos of, and don't you think it's problematic, that idea? Because these are the guys who were in the struggle, who still hold the same values of, we don't destroy comrades in the struggle.
I don't think those mechanisms that are found in the disciplinary codes of conduct constitute a destroying of comrades. I think that you've got to be very unapologetic, and you've got to have zero tolerance to corruption.
Exactly.
And then you've got to implement or take action, because it is that action that will rehabilitate people. But you couldn't punish people for ideas. You see, that is a different regime of consents. The ideas of that youth league, in my opinion, was the reason for their expulsion. I mean, you must go look at the charges. Botswana, and so on and so forth. So you've got to distinguish crime. A comrade that engages in crime, quite frankly, ceases.
We see it in China. Yeah, it happens
ceases
now.
to be a comrade.
Literally.
What defines you as a comrade is your constant, selfless commitment to the collective good and the cause. So that would be a different conversation, absolutely.
So when you look at, since, democracy, right, in the past 30 years.
Yes.
There's this guy, who's that guy that killed Chris Hani?
Janusz Volus.
Janusz Volus, the Polish guy, right? He once said a statement saying that black people are unable to lead, right?
Well, they all did, yeah.
Yeah.
What everyone.
So in the past 30 years that we have ruled, do you think his statement was right, or what do you say with what we have been able to do as black people?
Anika had an opportunity in that interview when Janusz Volus says those
remarks,
and after which he says, the circumstances given, I would kill Chris Hani again, I would do it again. Anika had a responsibility not to enter into a self-defensive mode of, but are you racist, blah, blah. She was supposed to say, okay, what is the situation of white people in relation to 1994? In relation to 1985? The stats are there. White people are the biggest beneficiaries as a community of the last 30 years. Go look at the levels of anything amongst them. Meta rate, levels of unemployment, skills levels, and so on. And certainly in the last 30 years, the income levels, they're the biggest beneficiaries of the last 30 years. Under a black government. Presided over, and this is the tragedy that the rest of black political activists are aggrieved by. That you've got to change that situation in which white privilege continues in perpetuity at the expense of black people. So I don't agree. I think South Africa, certainly for white people, has been, a big miracle. It'd be a big blessing. The last 30 years.
How do you personally feel that a black government, a black leadership has failed to remove majority black people out of poverty after 30 years?
It is the reason we became politically active, because it became very clear at the far much earlier age that it won't even be about getting a degree. Very important to get a degree. You don't want a country in which the levels of education are not high. The better country when majority have gone through to school. But, you'll realize already, the doors of industry are closed for majority of especially black people. And I think this is the biggest, most glaring failure of the ANC's regime in the last 30 years. Yeah. Incidentally, the DA as well in the Western Cape, because they've been in charge of that part of the country since 2009, if I'm not mistaken. They were before, but then they got it later, and they've not been able to exhume black people out of the dystopia that is the township, the spaceless, congested, broken conditions of living.
All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room.
There's an elephant.
Yes, a huge one, massive. I can feel
And
it.
it's not
Can you
IFP.
not feel it?
Where is
And
the
it's not the one in the
elephant?
IFP emblem. There's like 3 of them there.
Do you know what they mean, those elephants on that album?
No.
And they mean like because it's a male and a female and a child. Elephant.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's about family values. I don't know.
Nah, it's when we all know. Come on.
Let's talk about EFF.
EFF.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Is EFF a cult?
No. There is no veneration of any object or any individual. No. Not now. Certainly not.
How does its inception start? Like, is it you guys are chilling, just braaiing? And then someone comes up with an idea and we're like, let's do it. Like, how does it
There was a
conceptualize?
relationship between the demise of the leadership
Yes,
in the youth league.
got you.
And then sort of that was important. Then Marikana and the conference of the ANC in 2012.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, whose IP was it? Who was the first person? to say?
No. It could not be discussed in those terms. It was not an invention.
Okay.
It was not an invention. It was a conversation.
Yes, who's in that
How do
conversation?
we continue the struggle?
Who's in that conversation?
At the forefront was certainly SHIVAMBU and Malema.
Okay.
They took out a clarion call
got you.
in which there were 3 options. How do we continue these ideas, fighting for these ideas? One, do we form an NGO and continue agitation? Do we form a political party that will do it on its own, or do we stay in the ANC and hope on itself correction?
Yes.
There were massive consultations, the final outcome of which was, let's form a party.
Oh, so you were there in the initial stages of the
Absolutely,
conversation.
I was there. I was at the founding moment.
Then
certainly
how do
part
you
of
decide on who becomes
the face.
the first president?
Malema was the best
Albarele.
amongst us. Malema was the best amongst us. There was no doubt in my heart, in the hearts of many. He was the preeminent leader, like Steve Biko was to the generation of black consciousness.
Got you.
He was certainly the preeminent leader of the Economic Emancipation movement. And there was no doubt in any of our hearts
So how do you?
that he would be.
So how do you feel when people say you were just his ice boy?
Saul to MacG. I'm coming direct now. It's my turn now. You know? Coming direct.
I think they mean to mock me,
Yes.
but it's actually a great compliment.
Wow.
It's a great compliment. It means I know how to serve. It's important.
Even though you're
You don't
a great
mock
man
that.
yourself.
You don't mock that. It is the stupidest idea to mock the person that prepared the room
Hey.
before you sat on that chair.
Woo!
That's not wise.
Hey, we need t-shirts.
Let's say what? Oh, the red ones.
Okay, I get you.
No. I did that wholeheartedly. I don't do a lot of things without all of me. So I mean,
How do you
matter.
deal with people in your ears saying, you could be leading this thing, you're great, you're phenomenal, and still be able to serve?
Remove,
Yeah, exactly. For the greater purpose of what you're doing.
You would be missing the magnanimity of collaboration. Must never want to exist in the sky as the only star. Collaboration is important.
Main character
So the idea that I was not leading is wrong in the first place. It's wrong in the first place. I was very much in the thick of it. And we played different roles that ought to have been roles that are collaborative and complementary.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't be everything.
So now,
so certainly, do you know one of the greatest ANC figure, the greatest ANC Secretary General was Walter Sisulu. Walter Sisulu is credited as having been at the forefront of having recruited majority of these guys. Mandela, Tambo, some of them referred to him as their mentor. But he never became the president.
Never,
I don't even think he ever became a minister. He never became a minister. Sisulu understood, as we all should, collaboration and the different roles. The eye must never turn on the nose and say, because I see and you don't, I'm better. Because what if the nose stops breathing?
woo,
Hey.
So it's collaboration. It's
Nobody
important.
knows.
so now Julius, he would what?
Nobody knows what happened.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows what. I missed that.
Nobody knows what would happen. So now, Julius and Malema, right? They're accused of collapsing VBS. Allegedly, they stole. Did you benefit from that?
From what?
From the VBS looting?
No, I didn't. Go, Senamantla. No. I don't think there is no truth to the claim that they collapsed a bank.
Yeah.
Do you know, firstly, the money that is associated, and in this case, it's not FLOYD, it's his brother.
Got you, yes.
Is 15 million. VBS's collapse was 2 billion rands.
Jeez.
Do you know what percentage is 15 million to 2 billion?
It's very little.
0.003.
Doesn't make it right, though.
Yeah, because if there were 300 or 3,000 people, it would be 100%.
My point is not,
It took 15
is
million.
not in the rightness or the wrongness.
Got you.
Is that the attribution of a collapse of a bank is placed on a 15 million is to have all of us focus on the wrong target.
Okay, got you.
To have all of us
Move the goalposts.
focus. Yes. What was VBS?
Hey. Are you looting now,
Hey, bro, are you blind? Why are you walking into the blinds?
Sorry about
VBS
that.
is an important heritage of the Venda people. VBS was entering a commercial stage in its development. It then received municipal deposits. Now the question is, who lost those accounts? It's the main banks. There's hundreds of millions of rands. When the municipalities were saying, we're moving this account from Standard Bank, from FNB, from ABSA to VBS.
Got you.
It is my conviction that was the reason it had to be closed. Is that,
And they need a culprit.
you know, the budget of the country is over 1 trillion rands annually.
Yeah.
Who banks it?
Tell us.
It's the main banks.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is the bank account of Ekurhuleni? What is the bank account of the city of Johannesburg? What is the bank account of the Department of Defense? What is the bank account of? It's the big banks.
And how dare you take this and
how dare you take it to a vendor bank? Some rural arrangement.
Got you.
Cataclysmic. So I think that the politics of the transformation...
Who should we be focusing on?
The politics of the transformation of the financial sector was supposed to be the conversation. Because African Bank was in a problem of 5 billion. It was bailed out. And it was corruption too. The guys that were there were white. Why didn't you bail out VBS and go and arrest whoever, whether they're in the EFF, the ANC, or wherever? If they stole that money, there must be recourse.
Got you.
But why close the bank of the people?
It needs to be closed down.
Why close it? You could have bailed it out. I mean, bail out is a really legitimate option. Go check who bailed out the big banks that collapsed the financial, that caused the financial crisis of 2008.
Yeah. But if they bail them out and then irregular loans are still given, then it's going to be a cycle of just bailing out. Because
but isn't it that you put mechanisms? Come on, Sol, this is easy. The bank says, we have had these wrong systems. We're bailing you out on the following conditions. And those conditions adhered to, you put the systems, but you don't close an establishment of black people in the financial sector that remains lily-white. You don't close it. So I'm saying that bailing out doesn't mean go steal that one as well. You put mechanisms as the conditions for the bail. That's what happens with all the other banks. Why didn't VBS have that chance?
And isn't it true that all these banks have shares in all the other banks? Maybe it might be minority, 5-10%.
Yeah, possibly. There's a lot of intermingling. Yeah, there's certainly common properties.
Because there's a certain amount of shares that you can have without having to disclose.
Yes.
So that's how they weave around
just the threshold, under the threshold of the ownership.
But VBS is the story that must be told from that angle.
Got you.
To bring in SHIVAMBU and Malema is to deny yourself the historic importance of that collapse. Because if you do not understand it, you grow to the size of News 24, you are next.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
No, they've tried, remember?
Yeah.
They've tried, they failed.
To do what?
Oh, man.
No, I don't think there was an attempt. Trust me.
Oh, they were.
Yeah, come on, man.
Feeling it out.
If the big boys gonna
testing the water.
What did
bro,
they
imagine
do?
you step on a cockroach.
Yes.
That's how it is. Everything else is to them. Trust me.
No,
they
the
want
ones
to terminate you. It's fast.
They once
can.
put out an article saying, this is News 24, right?
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. News 24, yeah? They put out an article saying, when you are tired of listening to MacG,
Haibo.
here are the other podcasts you can listen to.
And it was a black journalist.
Yeah, it was all white podcasts.
And a black journalist wrote that.
Yeah. But anyway, are you corrupt? Have you ever dabbled in that world?
No, I don't have any... I've never presided over a budget.
Yeah.
A public purse.
Yeah.
And I don't do business. No.
So how do you afford
Or
a house
use the
like this?
influence.
This is a loan.
Ah, you lie!
It's a
This is a
bond.
bank. This is a bond, yeah.
Worry.
I have to pay. and
Hopefully not VBS.
You are not there. You heard the man.
I am not ashamed
yes.
that I would have gotten a home loan from VBS.
Wow.
That stigma is wrong.
Yeah.
That stigma is wrong.
Yeah.
And as black people, we have to push back. But I'm saying that, yes, indeed, this is just a home loan.
No, but we said you can't put all these things and do all this on a loan.
No, it is. It's a home loan. It's
man.
there. It's public.
Oh no, shit! I'm thinking you're
What do you mean?
renting.
It's a-
Sorry, man.
It's
I'm thinking you're renting.
how much?
It's not the rent. Ibhanga linginikeza umusa.
You know, earlier
No, I'm like any black
Sorry, man. I got
professional,
confused.
middle class. We are all slaves to a 30-year or a 20-year home loan.
Yes. No, I thought you were talking about renting. Sorry.
No.
You said something, man, earlier on. You said 2024, the elections were very humbling. Obviously, the ANC was super humbled, and I think we know why. It's because they've been in power for 3 decades, and like black people are poorer than ever, in my opinion, the way I see it. But the EFF also took a humbling. What do you attribute that humbling to?
I think that our fortunes for growth rested on insisting from the beginning on a massive voter registration drive because of our youth base. I remember when the online registration was introduced, we went to try it. We gathered over 60, 70,000 young people across in big pens down parties.
Yeah, I remember.
You remember,
Yes.
I think we tried to promote it as well from this platform.
Yes. And you got the kids as well.
They came out with IDs in their hands, ready to register. And guess what? The IEC system jammed. So I think that's the first thing that, what was important. We needed to really invest in that.
What about the remarks of the border?
That people must find all means necessary to get into the country.
Yeah.
It's
what impact did that have?
We are open.
I think we had a sufficient time to explain that policy.
Okay.
But I think the second point that we did that we shouldn't have done was the collaboration during elections. A collaboration during elections with MKP. The idea that...
MK like Zuma's party?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah. No, there was a collaboration and the leadership discouraged actively and itself refused to disassociate us in the clearest terms from the MKP.
Okay.
There was a lot of confusion, certainly in Gauteng as well as in KwaZulu-Natal, that we're together with these people.
Yeah.
I mean, the leadership would, from our platforms, even say such things as "Wawan,"
got you,
all of that. And I think that was a miscalculated tactic of entanglement.
What do you guys think when you see the MK numbers during the election day? Because that was crazy.
I was very devastated because I had been working hard against speaking against the MKP and explaining to our people that President Zuma is not the solution. He has had his time and so on and so forth. He's got a record. I tried. I was opposed. But I mean, once 2.3 million people put their votes on those colors, we had to go to parliament and work with what we had.
How do you feel about them using the name Umkhonto weSizwe? Funny, I saw you've got a book here on Umkhonto weSizwe, and obviously you've got intimate knowledge about the actual Umkhonto weSizwe, the armed, wing of the ANC. How do you feel about them almost, one would say, hijacking the name and writing maybe on its PR?
This is the thing about the ANC, over 113-year-old party, is that in a sense, it's a heritage of everyone. It's a heritage of everyone. There was a party called Congress of the People, which was COPE, which referred to the 1955 conference in which the Freedom Charter was adopted. There will be a party one day. If there's a party that wakes up and uses some other aspect.
Youth League.
Well, I'm saying that I don't see anything wrong.
So would you say your pushback was what do they say? What's that metaphor? It broke the camel's back?
That's the metaphor.
It's the stroke that breaks the camel's back, no?
The straw.
The straw.
The straw. Grass straw. Yeah, it's a straw.
Would you say...
The stroke is bestiality. Now you're in the realm of bestiality when the stroke breaks the camel's back. That's bestiality, that one. Yeah?
Oh, the neuronal stroke. That camel had a stroke. And that's why it got broken.
Would you say your pushback was the straw that broke the camel's back? Yes.
In what way?
In terms of your relationship with the leadership at EFF?
No, my problems in the EFF, yes, they've got an origin. They've got an origin in the tactics of entanglement. Firstly, with President Zuma and with the MKP. And I think that entanglement is the origins of my problems. Yeah.
So when FLOYD SHIVAMBU leaves, are you privy to this? Does he tell you?
Absolutely.
He tells you?
No, he did. Yeah, he did.
Wow.
He came to me. He came to me to say, this is what I'm thinking. And I said, you can't trust President Zuma. You have no idea how consistently opposed. And I said,
You've
okay,
been
you know what?
Of Zuma.
Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? We've got 2.3 million people that are now constituted in this party. Yes. So I said, okay, but, these comrades have a relationship. They've been entangled. They've entangled us. I said, what does the president think? He said, I haven't told him. I said, no, that's fine, but you should, and why don't you invite me? I could have an opinion as well. He said, no, I'll do it. And he did. Now, there are people who go around say, I should have gone at the back of FLOYD to run. And that is a suggestion that I'm a gossiper, a wedge driver, or an informat. I'm none of those.
Did he tell you and said it's in secret? Don't tell anyone?
No. It was his decision that he's processing, not mine. It's his story to tell. He had to tell it, and I told him, you've got to. He must do it, not me, because it's not my story. The suggestion that this is some
conspiracy.
I had to run and...
conspiring.
No. There's no evidence to this day to suggest that there should have been an alarmist response to that. I'm not a wedge driver. I'm not about to be. I'm not a gossiper. And I'm not about to be. So that situation had to be handled by FLOYD. It was his confusion or conviction. If you think it was a confusion, it was his. If you think it was a conviction, it was his. Imagine I run. I tell the SG or the president, and then FLOYD says, no, I'm not going. There's no such a thing. Jesus, who do you think they're going to believe?
Hey.
But
and they're brothers. Well, they were.
But are you not bounded by the brotherly loyalty? Like when you guys started.
Responsibility is precisely what I did. FLOYD, go tell the leadership.
And it's done.
I'm done, yeah. But you see, he wasn't recruiting me. I don't think he could do that. Because unfortunately for me, it's a matter of public record that I opposed the entanglement of seeking endorsement, of seeking collaboration. I opposed that entanglement. And that entanglement is responsible for the huge losses that we sustained in KwaZulu-Natal, in Gauteng, for having been overrun, overturned in Mpumalanga, in the National Assembly.
And you expressed this to the leadership?
Certainly. I was opposed. I was opposed since October. I was opposed when I've been. I didn't think it was a correct tactic of entanglement.
When last do you speak to FLOYD SHIVAMBU? What's the last conversation you guys are having?
We spoke about the derby.
The Soweto derby.
Yeah, we had to mourn the loss of Chief.
That's all of us, man. The entire country had to mourn.
Thank you.
The entire country.
The country against pirates of the Caribbean.
Against piracy. I'm a musician, you know. I'm not a fan of piracy.
Jesus, but Paris is playing very good soccer.
You should have added me on that WhatsApp call so we can mourn all together.
Yeah, same.
So that means you guys are cordial then?
I have no reason for anonymity even against President Zuma.
Wow.
No, I'm very I disagree. But Floyd did not cross the picket line. So the picket line, he didn't wake up and go join the Nationalist Party, work with de Klerk. He didn't do that.
Got you.
He didn't cross the picket line.
Got you.
You couldn't say somebody who leaves the NC, joins the PAC, is an enemy, and on those bases characterize the PAC as an enemy because they left. No. Members of the ANC in 1992 who elected Chris Hani into the leadership of the ANC as a NEC member 1991 and as an NWC member. When Chris Hani the following year resigns all those positions and says, I'm going to focus on the SACP, you can't say selling out because you are in an entanglement. You have entangled yourself.
So what happens when you
with the SACP?
So what happens when you don't get invited to the
Elective conference?
Yes, in December.
I couldn't attend the National People's Assembly over a dispute because of a dispute over my suspension. I was suspended 6 weeks before the conference.
On what basis?
They didn't use the code of conduct.
Got you.
They said there are extraordinary circumstances. And they said they have a report, an intelligence report that they were busy with. But this report now was solid, and it said that I should now be suspended because that report said I am part of the people that are going to Mkondo Sizwe. And I'm working with the people of Mkondo Sizwe to destabilize the movement I gave my life to. And that I should have told them about Floyd.
Yes.
And so I said, no, that's fine. You investigate. You are in the leadership position to do everything in your power to protect the organization. But you must give me the opportunity when you are done for the right of reply to clear my... Because it's a dangerous accusation to say somebody is a double agent, somebody is a betrayer of a revolution, has been disloyal. So I said, when you are done, please do give me the opportunity to respond to the information and the allegations. But at a later stage, they said the report would be ready after conference and therefore my matter has been referred to the leadership after the conference. It didn't seem fair to me to then resume some participation with a gun on my head. With a cloud hanging on my head. How would I disagree on any other thing?
Of course.
Without the cloud. So I thought, no, let me wait for this important report to which I will then one day clear my name.
Have you seen, there's no report till today?
No.
Now, I don't know if you're aware, or if you're aware of this. So apparently, there's a recording of you speaking to another EFF member over the phone. And you were attributing your guys' loss of votes in the elections to the EFF leader. And he had access to this and held on to it and then started monitoring you leading up to the conference. So I don't know if this would, hence I asked if you've seen
You've
the
got
report.
this recording?
No. I'm told by our research team.
Okay.
So I don't know if is there such a recording or are you aware of such a conversation?
Maybe it's part of the report. I don't know. There is nothing wrong with being critical about the leadership.
Yes.
So do you recollect that conversation?
No. I mean, let me tell you, I was very critical and I wouldn't hide it to the president. I told him. I said it in meetings. I said it everywhere that I don't agree with these tactics. And you, comrades, are at the forefront of these. And from the position of the president, we had to be disentangled. And it didn't happen. So I'm saying that there's nothing wrong with criticism. There's a very sophomore reading sometimes of our Constitution where they say, the Constitution says we must defend the organization when it is being unfairly criticized. But you see, the qualifier unfair is important. Because if it is a fair criticism, it is not good, it is wrong to defend. So for an example, let's say people are saying somewhere there are EFF leaders who have occupied the land and they are selling stands. And it's in the news, everybody's talking about it. It will be wrong to defend against it if it's the truth. So before you defend, you've got to say, is it based on lies, this criticism?
And what part of the GNU had to play in this fallout? Like, were you for the GNU or against it?
In the conversations regarding the GNU, I think firstly, my original position certainly was we shouldn't donate the ANC to the DA.
Donate,
yeah.
Wow.
Like, we shouldn't let them.
That's a powerful word.
By folding arms or staying out. You see, when we formed the organization, we anticipated a situation in which the ANC will be below 50%. And we said of the existing political platforms in 2013, there was no left-wing progressive political party. And for such a day when it comes, the ANC will be in no option but to work with the liberals. It's one of the most important reasons we formed the EFF, that the ANC shouldn't be handed over to the liberals. So certainly there was that conversation. And but the resolutions ultimately rested on we couldn't get in because the DA is there on the one hand, and that was important because the DA is this liberal force. But also the MKP, was dragging its feet and then didn't attend the first sitting of parliament, couldn't move the first point of negotiation.
So there's a world where MK, EFF, and ANC could have got together.
That would have been the ideal situation. Wow. That would have been ideal because there wouldn't be in that government disagreement about NHI. There wouldn't have been a disagreement on Bella Bill. The MKP had a problem with President Cyril Ramaphosa. And our problem was the DA.
Got you.
Yes. And the ANC wanted to work with everybody.
Yeah.
It was it wanted to form a broad church in the state. So the GNU is certainly not part of the problems we experienced. No, it's not.
So I was watching a podcast where the president of the EFF was talking to DJ Sbu, and he asked him a question of, do you feel like you were intimidated by NDLOZI? And I don't think it was clear. His answer wasn't clear. I don't think he even answered it. Ne?
Yeah,
it was very vague.
In his interviews, he's going on like you don't exist, or like he never really wants to.
I don't think he's intimidated. That's my answer. No. Certainly, I'm not.
Yeah.
When
last did you speak to him?
Last year.
That's the last time?
Yes, I spoke to him on I'll tell you, on the 11th of November.
Yes.
When you guys started...
When they were handing me over the suspension.
So where's the relationship now? Are you guys... So, because FLOYD, you spoke to him last week. CIC, you spoke last year. Like, where are you guys now?
No, I'm sure they are very big, important. I'm not in the leadership anymore, and certainly there's been very sharp political disagreements, and I have refused the invitation to make those political disagreements personal. Because you wouldn't be able to do politics on the terms of the personal.
Yeah.
I've refused that. And I can tell you, MacG, without a shadow of doubt, progressive revolutions are high calling that stem from a place of love. And there is no cause that requires love than the liberation of black people. Because black people are a hated people who have been ostracized, bastardized, and socialized into hating themselves. You couldn't engage in a revolution of liberating them, of humanizing them, without love. And that's really all I have for my brothers and sisters in the EFF. Love.
So you still consider him a brother?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Even after all the stuff he said about you. I mean, he even took a jab at your wife, right?
You can never choose where the test of your character must come from. There are people who have had worse from their mothers.
Oh, yeah.
From their brothers. From their sisters. So you can't say, no, only the enemy must test me. Only, you know. The test of your character, of your convictions.
Got you.
Of your ability to stick to a dignified political engagement. You can't determine most of the time where that test must come from.
So he calls you now, he picks up the phone.
I will pick it up.
He says, I just watched Podcast and Chill, biggest podcast in Africa. Love it, by the way.
Shout out.
I'm hearing your side of the story.
Proud of you.
I'm hearing your side of the story. I want to meet, reconcile. Is that something you're open to? And would you go back if that opportunity was handed to you?
No, there's no, he has no power to impose me on the leadership of the EFF. Leadership gets elected in a conference. I hold nothing in my heart against the president of the EFF, and I got to work very close with him, and as a leader, as an activist, he has gone through a lot, you know, for the views. He has been ostracized a lot for the ideas of expropriation of land without compensation, nationalization of the banks, free education. And he was supposed to be this example where all of us, when we look at him, we get scared to be political. I think his contribution is certainly something of serious importance, and I would never join any voice to write him off or to write the EFF off.
You know, I must be honest with you, man. When I heard about this news, it was very sad because it's seldom to see black people achieve such great things, you know. And you know, one thing that we always try to preach on the podcast is unity. Like, if we black people got together and work together, and I think you guys were one of those symbols, you know. There's guys that are doing it, but you guys, like, you were young, we could relate, you got the scruffy hair, you understand, you get the music, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Plus, you're intellectual. So
And
it's
you-
not just you're about the Shisanyama and rocking lifestyle, but you're a thought leader as well.
You understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
to see that...
Thank you, Saul.
Yeah.
You have a lovely heart.
Big time. A lot of the youth does,
To
man.
see that fall
thank
apart, it was like, geesh, what does this mean for us black people? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like to see, because you will, the people, I think a lot of people who are intellectually inclined, you, Floyd, even Malema to some degree himself, because he's a smart guy, but you were the intellectual magnet, you know, that attracted not just militant and radical people who are radicalized, but just smart people who read to the EFF. And so when guys like Floyd, you seem to be persona non grata to this very same EFF, it then leaves us wondering what happens to all those people who got attracted by the qualities of your likes towards the EFF.
I think that, look, that's my demise. And I don't know. Are we okay?
Yeah, I'm just trying to charge my laptop.
Oh, they want my charger. He's whispering in my ear. I don't know why he's whispering. It's a C-type, no?
No. It's this big one. Just give it to Neo. You'll sort it out there.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Don't worry about them, man.
Yeah.
Yes, you can continue.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, man.
No, I'm saying that, I mean, in politics, there are disagreements.
Yeah.
And for me, some of those disagreements invite distrust. And a lot of that trust gets built in the struggle, gets rebuilt, reshaped in the struggle. So the only absurdity for me is the preposterous idea, which the whole suspension was based on, that
Gotcha.
I have an interest of joining MKP. I don't. I still don't.
ANC?
No.
Earlier on, you said that Jacob was misunderstood. What was misunderstood about him?
A lot of things. I think that certainly President Zuma, from the culture of elites, he doesn't talk like you and I and MacGyver. Because, we are expected because of schooling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bantu education.
That's the first, I think, important hostility that was invited on him.
True, yeah, he doesn't sound like a Mandela
Mbeki, yes.
Yeah,
And
that's
certainly many of the...
Or
You heard
Cyril.
Cyril's English.
committent.
Nah, that's just twang. That's just twang. Mandela's and Mbeki's were far more superior. That's just the twang, I feel.
The tower was a wordsmith.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh, I am African.
Can you hook us up with him?
I'm an African.
Please, man. Come on.
Please,
I just
man.
got
Tell him we've got a bottle.
man.
We've got more than enough bottles.
kicked out on the streets.
Come on, Peg. I mean, beer tavern pig for us.
Oh, man.
Let him cook.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
That would be amazing,
Yeah,
bro.
man.
But I don't...
Because he's probably the last statesman that carries the values of the proper ANC.
what are those values?
But as you were continuing,
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm
They're
saying
misunderstanding.
that is... I hope that we all understand in the country, and certainly with the people that we have struggled together with, that this is not the end of the story.
Got you.
Certainly it's not. And I would hope that we close, for me anyway, I will not pursue any report except to say that it was based on false information. It had no basis in the truth.
Do you have any regrets? Is there anything you would have done differently?
There's a lot of things well, you have to be very specific.
And in this case that we're talking about?
No.
Okay, got you.
No.
Are you still in the EFF WhatsApp group, or did they remove you?
No, I mean, these are leadership WhatsApp groups. I'm not elected. My term of office finished when the conference ended.
So they removed you
So
from
that's
the
when
group.
they removed you.
Yes, they have to. They have to.
Jeez.
You got removed.
Yeah.
MBUYISENI has left.
No, it got removed.
I left most of them because the parliament one was the big one that I was part of, and I volunteered the parliament seat.
Yes, got you.
Yeah.
Let's give the new leadership a chance. And there were a lot of problems in relation to the branch work in Orange Farm, but I felt very, very, very strongly that let me give space, and so I volunteered to leave in December already.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
In December already.
So are you still a part of the EFF? Do you still
I
have
still
membership?
have the membership now.
Okay.
Yes, but I've read the room.
Yes.
So can any thinking person.
Yeah.
Are you getting a salary from the EFF?
No, I've never gotten a salary. I mean, my salary was parliament. Yes.
So now how are you surviving? How are you paying the
Because you
for
don't
this
take
beautiful...
bribes.
So how you... No, he doesn't take bribes. man. Yeah, we need a podcast.
Akenabuthatha abawuseva.
So how are you maintaining your bonds?
Ake nindinikeze nitorho madoda. Madoda.
Yeah, let's do it. So how are you maintaining your lifestyle? The bond. How you, like you said, you have a bond. How you paying your bond and everything? Your car payments.
I'll gotta see. I'll find something. You know, man. Look, I shouldn't at all invite alarmism on that question. There are savings associated with being an MP. They will run out, but they are there.
That's true.
And I will go look for a contribution. I'm still a warrior.
Wow.
I'm still a fighter. Just not against other fighters. I'm a fighter against poverty, unemployment, inequality. I'm a fighter against racism. That fight I'm going to continue. I'm definitely going to continue. It's a decent fight because party politics is not a monopoly of making a contribution in the world.
But let's be honest, you guys all get along together, eh? Who's DA, ANC,
We're
EFF?
singing the GNU. The DA is no
You
longer
guys get
benefiting.
along,
They're no
man.
longer, the DA is benefiting. They're no longer calling out anything. Like, you know what I mean? They're no longer saying, hey, let's not do the opening of parliament and make it extravagant.
Would you say you don't get along with other podcasts that compete against you?
No.
Who share and compete against the same audience?
No, I do.
If you can accept that, you can accept that politicians must never be personal. They must never subsume a political argument into a personalized gooblagook.
But it just feels so orchestrated. It feels like
if you can do that, you know that this is a political.
But it feels
conversation.
orchestrated. It feels like you guys sit down, you're like, okay, you're going to say this. Ne?
No.
And then
it's
I'm going to
not.
come in.
It's just on TV. Do you know how much you like to make this really about the chill?
Yes.
But the frame just betrays it. You know, it's on TV.
Got you.
It looks like it's scripted.
Yeah,
but it's not.
Yes.
Parliament is not scripted. Not a single day of a point of order I've ever called in 10 years was agreed
So how do you
on before the moment of its provocation.
So how do you explain you guys publicly saying the DA, this is EFF, right, is the enemy many times, but then you go in collision with them in some of the municipalities?
The differences with the ways in which the EFF related to the DA in local government elections, there were important moments where on this side you've got the ANC. It just lost. And you're worried because this loss, an important part of their loss is corruption. You have an interest with removing the public purse from their hands. But your other option is the DA. So you then, or what we did was, we would then give it to the DA, but not co-govern with them.
Got you.
Not getting a GNU with them. Because there was just this urgent question of save the public purse. The DA, on the other hand, the anonymity is a political anonymity. We don't hate white people. We don't hate DA members. We hate the conditions that they favor for the perpetuation of white privilege.
Do you think Helen Zille is racist?
All white people are safe moving from the assumption that they are racist because they grow in a racist society. How the hell won't they be racist? They grow in a racist society where they are superior, where we serve them. I mean, all the servants in the white homes, do you think they are white servants? It's still our mothers, our fathers, our brothers and sisters. And Helen Zille is old enough to have come out of that regime. That racism is there. It is definitely a big blind spot of DA politics. But her as a person is part of the liberals who at some point had to be conscious that they are racist. And for as long as they are conscious of their racism, you have one or two moments of being able to work with them. But once they forget, they act it out. So absolutely, every white person in the world, why would they be called whites? It is only so that they distinguish themselves from blacks. Why do they have that identity to this day? Because white is only white in relation to black. Amongst themselves, they are
British,
German,
Jews,
and so on.
yeah.
They are only white to distinguish themselves from African people and people of African origin, from people of color all over the world. White is only white to the extent to which you remember that you are black to it. Yeah, so I'm saying that certainly the ones of South Africa have a lot of racism to deal with.
You wake up one morning, you're going to war. Who are you taking? Former President Nelson Mandela or Winnie Mandela?
Winnie!
You're taking Winnie.
Obvious, come on,
You're taking
bro.
Winnie.
Come on.
Oh, well, ma.
Obvious.
Yeah.
You know who did this?
Yeah.
You know who did this painting?
Nelson Mandela.
Yeah.
I see the style.
It's beautiful, man.
No. I mean, Mama Winnie, Mandela would take Mama Winnie as well.
He did.
He did.
Whoa. So,
Yeah.
Ukrasaga win.
Well, unless, Saul, you left the conversation for 2 seconds, the options were Mama Winnie.
No, you said
Nelson
Mandela
Mandela.
will take Mama Winnie.
Because the options,
okay.
Saul, you know. So, you can add that option.
I'm taking the wife.
You gotta start properly.
Yeah, I'm taking the one like, hey, why would he take? Okay, but fair enough. The option, no, Nyawuz.
He sustained the premise. So I mean, Mama Numzama is the future.
We want to thank you so much for your time.
Tango Matala.
Quentin, thank you so much for your time. You know, you're the first interview we did this year.
Oh.
Yeah, and we want to present you with
Actually,
this.
yeah.
So this is Black Excellence. This is to celebrate Black Excellence for what you've done for the society.
Thank you.
In all your hard work.
Thank you.
It's an exclusive bottle of Grandeur limited edition. No, not limited edition, luxury edition.
Yeah.
And you're the first person in the country to have this.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is there one of yours?
Yes.
Aw,
Grandeur Lux edition.
edition.
Yeah.
Makamde.
We wanna celebrate Black Excellence.
Ndaba
And then also, I know you love books. Here's my book. Hope you like that. Okay, so.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Uncancelable.
Danko.
Would you like my review?
Yes, that would be amazing. Yeah. I hope it's a good
so
one.
much.
Otherwise, we're not putting this up.
Thank you.
Peluka,
I promise you that I will not sell it taking my conditions of unemployment. I will try my best to enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I really wish you guys the greatest of blessings. I wish
you, man.
God to grow you, and that you will understand at all material times the responsibility of your impact.
Thank you, man.
The responsibility of your gift. That you've got to play your part.
Thank you.
And I wish you, I really wish that this podcast does diversify the media ownership, the media conversation in this country. I'm very proud of you guys.
Thank you.
I've Utut will tell you.
Yes.
It's been 4 or 5 years since I've had to
you.
come to the show.
And you know, the first time I heard of you was when you were trending on Twitter and people were like, hey, here's the People's Bay.
People's Bay.
I'm like, to my wife, who the fuck is this
I
People's Bay,
didn't
man?
know what that meant. I didn't know, because, at first, it's a very coconut phrase.
Yes.
So we had to have this conversation, myself and comrades. What does this mean? It sounds positive, but what does it mean?
What do you think it means? Till this day, what do you think it means? What do you think it means?
The as I understand, Bay is a boyfriend.
Yeah?
Yeah, so it looks like there was a pleasant relationship to the work I was doing.
From my understanding is that finally in Parliament, we saw someone we can relate to, and ladies thought you were good looking. You don't have a mkaba. on your last breath type vibe. You know what I mean?
The chains could relate to you. Aukami, like for real, because everybody in parliament is either bold or perfectly cut all the time. So it's just a relatability thing.
So how do you handle the groupies? Because you are the people's bay.
Jesus, I try my best,
to stay out of trouble. What is your type, Vele? Like when it comes to women, what's your type?
Is the type I have.
Oh,
I'm down on that one. I hit way above my weight. Yeah.
What's your
Glory
body
to
count?
God.
What's your body count?
What is that?
Explain, Penduk. These politicians.
Oh, I don't know. Body count.
Body count.
Very, very, very irrelevant question. Very, very irrelevant. Very silly question.
He looks like 50.
Nah, way more.
Way more.
Way more. Women love power, bro. And obviously, guys been in. It was an MP. Come on. Do we know MPs out there?
Less than 5. No ways.
Nah,
more than
never.
100. Smile if it's more than 100.
You can ask.
You know how politicians roll, bro. These parties of theirs, man. Come on. It's not only parliament they're opening up on that day.
Have you ever
People
been
get flown in. Cape Town is crazy right
have
now.
Have you been to the opening of Parliament?
No, I've never. But
you guys should attend.
But I see all the girls on the flights, flights, all the slave queens. You see them going down to the opening of Parliament, man.
And your heart breaks.
No, not our type. Not my type.
Do you get FOMO?
No, not my type.
Oh, I see. Which type?
Yeah, slave queens.
What's your type, nigga?
Girls.
My type, I like beauty and brains. I like beauty and brains.
Is there something that is not that?
Yeah. You can get beautiful ones who, hey.
At rallies,
it takes a lot of brains to be pretty, no?
No.
Okay.
Come on.
It's natural.
Because, first of all,
beauty has to be performed.
Because you're a nigga, right? You're a guy, right? As a guy, you get attracted to the...
as we all do.
First things first.
Whatever you like, boobs, whatever,
right?
Yeah.
But in order for you to engage in a relationship, you sometimes speak like
yes, and get engaged.
It has to be more than that.
I have that effect on
you know what I mean? It has to be more than that. It's like when we're sitting, are we talking about productive things? Like, are you filling in my cup? Am I filling in your cup?
No, relationship is, yes. It's a whole lot of work. When you make that decision, you're definitely making a decision beyond the aesthetic.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's gotta work because Jesus, relationships are a lot of work.
Yeah.
Penduka,
any last question that you got?
Yeah, man. Where are we gonna see you pop up, man? Where to from here? Are you still gonna be in the realm of politics? I mean, I know you've expressed to be a preacher before.
I'm leaving.
Qualified.
You live in
politics. I'm leaving
party
politics.
Because people thought you were going to ANC.
Yeah, because of
why
the tweets.
Did they think so?
Because you were saying nice things about
Cyril and
So tomorrow, I mean, Saul was on this show.
Yeah.
Couldn't understand what I said about Mtana Kapindangene, Mangosuthu Buthelezi. And he's like, I mean, I went there and I said things. Did it mean I'm going to join IFP?
Oh, got you.
You remember that?
I'm surprised you even know that.
I'm a chiller, man.
I remember that, man.
I'm a chiller, man. You gotta chill.
So
the world is too difficult. You gotta chill.
So podcasting?
Sorry?
You live in politics?
Party politics.
So you'd still maybe be an analyst or have a podcast on podcast and chill.
That's not politics.
Yeah, no, that's not party politics.
I mean, you can't call Peter Drury a soccer player.
Yeah, true.
But it's in the world of football. No. He's not in football. In club football. He's not in club football, but it's in the world of politics. Our football.
They make him
So I'm saying that...
No, he's not in club football, but it's in the world of football. It's like saying Mark Gleason is not in the... Or Deshi Pektawa is not in the world of football.
Got you.
Come on, not in club football, but they're in the world of football.
What is your question?
So we could see you know, on the podcast.
Yeah. Explode, sis.
Now I'm just saying, you could be on a podcast. You could
Analysts are pundits. That is speaking about politics. that is not doing
But
politics.
not playing.
No, it's not doing politics.
It's not playing.
It is not being engaged in changing the world.
Yeah, true. They don't
Where we at
change.
with the music? Because I know you do you play any instruments?
No. I'm learning the piano. I wouldn't say I play. I mean, I just understand the scales and all of that.
Oh, wow.
But I've been we're contributing 3 songs.
Nice.
To one of the I'm not sure if I'm allowed to speak about it. But there's a gospel artist that we just finished.
When you
doing
say
3
contribute,
songs
are you
for-
writing?
We do, we are producing 3 songs.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Wow, NDLOZI, that's amazing, bro.
Jesus God, I've been singing in this country. What did you think I've been doing? Azani. What did you think that was about, man?
Hey, I've always wondered,
Music.
where do you guys learn these struggle songs? Is there like a
They get
school?
composed.
But where do you learn it? I don't even know one, bro. Where do I go?
You came at the right place.
They'll school you.
Yeah.
I just go along.
But gospel, do you
No.
you know gospel?
No.
You just know piano.
I know piano, like a bit of jazz, like a bit of EDM, what's that slow lounge, hip hop? What's that slow-fi?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like all genres, but I haven't dabbled in gospel, no.
Yeah. No. I mean, I listen to everything because music is that important to me.
Who books the artists when you guys have these rallies? Because it's like someone's got a tender there. It's always the same people.
We do. Yeah, if you had been booked, you would have spoken.
Yes.
We do the leadership. You get attached. We get allocate each other responsible. You will be responsible for the stage security.
Yeah.
And then when you do security, you know how magnanimous.
Yeah.
And really, really tough work that is. So yeah. There'll be somebody who is going to book, manage, make sure they are paid, and all of that.
How incredible is Amapiano?
Lovely, and it's global impact.
Dude, it's crazy.
We haven't had that as a country since South African jazz of Miriam Makeba. We haven't had that since then. So, aren't we in a great generation?
Oh, this generation is crazy.
Aren't we in a great generation?
Who's your favorite? Who do you fuck with?
But my man, that Kelvin is too good, my man.
Oh, Kelvin Momo.
More.
Yeah. But his songs sound the same, man.
Not really, but I have to give credit to the Scorpion Kings.
Oh, of course.
I gotta give credit to Scorpion King. What they did for the culture, in particular, Kabza. Kabza is so academic about piano. When you listen to his set, if it's an hour set, he will play for 45 minutes without you hearing a popular sound.
Of course. We call them exclusives.
And then drops you the final 3 and leaves.
Yes.
He's so committed to the craft.
When you guys engage these guys, do they express like what challenges they're going through with like visas and stuff like that?
Yeah. Some guys. I mean, I've had a lot of help with artists that we've had to help about traveling, particularly, with COVID conditions and all of that. So we do. I mean, as public representatives, that becomes an important constitutional responsibility you have towards the system.
Would you do an Amapiano gospel /
I don't know.
Meh.
My piano, for me, it's intimidating. Yeah.
No, we've got a producer.
Do you know what happened? Do you remember with my piano? My piano came at the back of 2 genres that were reaching the sort of sunset.
Yes.
It was drum and hip hop.
Yes.
They were like going out.
Yes.
And do you remember what was particularly missing in drum?
Soul.
No, vocalists.
Okay.
Singing.
Yes.
That's they were doing like ooh, That went on for 5 years.
Yes.
And my piano, Shasha, something way to they were singing.
But that was when Amapiano was also evolving, because Amapiano also went through a phase where there were no vocals.
I'm saying that
that was a very
in its mainstream. Remember, all genres start somewhere in underground.
Yeah.
But when it became a popular mainstream genre, the contours, the certain points, nodal points, the important signatures were at the center of it were these vocalists.
Yeah.
And I was like, we've been missing singers in dance music.
What do you think is the correlation between music and politics in terms of how does it all connect? Because there's so many songs where
Politics.
we don't know, but when you listen back, it's a political song.
Of
Give
course,
me
there's
hope,
protest
Joanna.
genre.
Hope, Joanna. Give me hope. Classic example. A lot of people don't even
I don't
that's
know what you just sang.
Give me hope, Joanna.
That's some private school thing.
Wait.
Give
Grant.
me Joanna.
What's this? Eddie Grant.
Oh.
Give me hope, Joanna. Hope, Joanna. Give me hope.
Mhlamba akayiculi kahle.
Hayibo, come on, boy. Said you don't know Eddie Grant. Give me hope, Joanna. The song, it sounds like he's
Okay.
talking about a woman and give me hope, but it's talking about Johannesburg
Yeah, I
and
see.
the racism and what's happening in South Africa.
Thanks
You
for the
guys don't know Give me
education.
hope.
No, I know
I'm
the
a
song. I
school
didn't know
all of
what
you.
it meant. I know the song.
Yeah, I'm surprised
Give
you don't
me
know the song.
hope,
Very
Joanna.
political song. Joanna, give me hope. Joanna, till the morning comes. Give me. She wakes up in the morning.
Yeah, I didn't know.
I don't think-
Johanna is Johannesburg.
Oh, wow.
I don't think
And it's not
I
even
don't think
it's
so.
like a British guy / Jamaican guy. Yeah, Eddie Grant.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Nice. No, he's right. Politics, it has a responsibility for the upliftment of consciousness. And music is a powerful instrument. You can make people conscious about themselves, about love, about culture, about the living conditions. And I mean, part of what Mapiano was doing, particularly in those early stages, there was a lot of working class stories.
Makwelane one lawyer.
Yeah, but also, like, remember that song of
His go-to piano called.
no, about unemployment, about being broke. You are broke, you can't keep a woman, and all those things. But I'm saying that certainly music and politics intersect because they've got this responsibility for the upliftment of consciousness on the one hand. On the other, hey, my man, music, I'm yet to meet a person. Do you know, if I was doing the interview with JULIUS, I would have asked him, do you listen to music? And he says, whatever. And I say, what was your most important song in prison? Because, that's the thing about music. Even the most cruel psychopath in the room has a relationship with a sound.
Wow.
Yeah, it's universality. Certainly, we conducted the EFF politics very much about music. I mean, we had 5 albums, including the one that came out in 2023. 5 in a row. Beautiful, with all the genres. In the beginning, the first album, there was even reggae. So we've had a relationship that cannot be broken. But also to comfort yourself, my man, because to encourage yourself, you sing. And I sing all the time.
It's Negro
song is
spirituals
everything.
when the slaves came up with songs.
Yeah.
To, obviously, just survive the day working on a cotton field.
Yeah, I mean,
etc.
your mother sings over cooking a pot of pap.
Yeah.
Music is, at least for most of people in the world, it's not unique to Africans.
Yeah.
The Chinese, the Japanese, there's important relationship we all do have as a people to music. And this country has just gifted the world a piano.
Before we go, man, Donald Trump, what do you think about what he's doing?
Trump is an unrepentant bully, racist, and I think he's dangerous for the global democratic order. He's dangerous for human rights. And what he has said recently about Palestine is shameful. And I hope the world one day wakes up to the reality that we cannot just give words of encouragement to the Palestinians. We gotta arm them to defend their right to be in the world, to defend their land and defend it against total obliteration. I hope the world comes to that realization. That is a just cause. And those Palestinians deserve to fight that fight even when America joins it. Gaza cannot go to the US, it cannot go to Israel. It's Palestine and it belongs to the Palestinians. If we allow that, we are next. Whoever you are in the world, if you allow Trump to take Canada, to take Greenland, to take Gaza, you are next. That's just the bottom line. This is an important thing. I think it's a very destructive force. And I think that the people of the world have got to unite against these destructive policies.
Hey, how much contribution did you have for Julius to come on the show? Were you the one, eh? That was like MBUYISENI play, eh?
I don't remember.
Yeah, of course. He's
I don't think Julius knew who we were.
He's the one in charge. If I was in charge, I wouldn't be in the streets. If I was in charge.
MBUYISENI NDLOZI. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, man.
MacG, the show.
Yes. My
Your
mom
mother
liked
liked the tricks.
Yes.
Did she used to trap you and see if you can get out?
No. I was self-taught that.
Yeah. MacG.
You know the streets. They'll teach you that. What I wanted to say, man, you've been speaking about your life for like 12 years now, and we appreciate this time. And I know people, wherever you go, they're going to ask you what happened in EFF. Just tell them, watch the podcast.
I will do so.
Yeah.
And you must tell me the time and everything. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to speak about that. Ngiyabonga ukuthi ningisize ngipole. And I hope that we can all be committed to making the priority this country and making it a better place to live in. That's the cause, the country. Let's all focus on that cause. And I have certainly moved on, and there's nothing I hold against that moment of my demise.
No problem, man. Thank you so much.
Laundu.
God bless you with everything that's coming your way.
Thank you.
You're a man of God. Can you close us with a prayer?
Thank you.
All right, let's go.
Baba uNkulunkulu siyabonga. Amen.
We are here, man.
Welcome to Black Excellence. Do not fear, for if you do, just sip on some grandeur. And if you still do, ask ourselves, what would Mapapunzi do? Parama chila, itlesha lefiki. Ungoyigi, even if when they ask you, how sabini, do not fear. For if you do, just say, Anistivi. This is the medicine of censorship. This is the pill. Which one is that one? Podcast and chill.